Hello and welcome to the channel. This is a preview show for Sheffield United versus Chelsea. We obviously saw an amazing game at Stamford Bridge against Manchester United, probably better than what anyone thought was possible from Chelsea. If we're being honest, against Manchester United with the record that we've had and how we've performed this season recently in some of our bigger matches, I just never saw it coming. An amazing, amazing result. To beat them 4-3 in the way that we did, with a Cole Palmer hat-trick, with the emotion that was shown at the end of the game, the way we even started the first 20 minutes, it was exceptional. It was very, very good. I was very happy to see that from a Chelsea side, because I feel like it's been such a long time since we've seen that. It really has. Especially under Pochettino, I might say that we've never seen that under Poch. The emotion that he showed at the end is something I've been craving from him the whole time he's been Chelsea manager. I just don't think he's done a good enough job at being or at trying to create a connection with the Chelsea fans. I think everyone could agree with that. Pochettino has been lackluster in that area of management, and I think that's underestimated. I think a lot of people talk about how important it is to do this as a manager and tactically win games and whatever and be in the right way, like presenting yourself. People forget the connection with the fans is just as important, because if you can get the fans on side, seriously, if you get the fans on side and they get behind your team, it's a recipe for results, a recipe for winning. Look at Liverpool. Look at Jurgen Klopp. He got the fans on side straight away. They've never, ever, ever, ever not backed him, even when the going got tough. And they have won countless amounts of trophies. It's just a disaster for me if you don't get the fans on side early doors, and it makes it incredibly, incredibly difficult to then get them on side. I actually believe what Pochettino said about how he wants to build a genuine connection with these fans. I kind of understand that. I think that's right. That's the right way to go about it. Don't be fake. If you don't want to jump in the crowd and that isn't you, don't do it. And if it takes a game like that, fine. But should it really take a game like that? Because I would argue Chelsea have had bigger games. Did he not want to win that League Cup final? You know, maybe he wanted that win. But you can show and build connection with fans when things aren't going wrong as well. You know, and that's what I think Mourinho was an absolute gem at doing. He was fantastic at doing that. He was almost a master of that side of the game. Is when things weren't going well, he was still incredibly able to connect with the fans and make it feel like everyone was against everyone at Chelsea, you know, not just that fans were against the manager. And that's kind of the route Poch has gone down. I don't really think it's worked. But look, we got a massive game today against Sheffield United. I know Sheffield United are where they are in the league, and it should be a very simple game. If Chelsea have struggled in any type of fixture this season, it's that. Okay, that's where we've struggled. So, look, what are we expecting from today's game? Today's game is going to be difficult. I really think that. I think Sheffield United are probably going to sit back. I think they're going to sit in tight, even though they're at home. They can't afford to... Look, they actually have nothing to lose, and they should probably go for the win. They should probably try to hurt Chelsea. Actually, the best way to do that is by sitting back, because Chelsea have struggled. Chelsea have found it really, really difficult to have any success. So bear with me 2 seconds. I'm just trying to find the live on my channel. Yeah, look, it's a massive trip up to Brammal Lane. I don't know what our previous record is like there. I feel like it's obviously been a while. They were newly promoted, and Sheffield United doesn't scare me. But I'll tell you what it does do. If we can't beat Sheffield United, seriously, today, it makes that Manchester United win pointless. It'll be awful. It'll be like all that effort, all that heart that went into beating Manchester United will be in the bin if we cannot beat Sheffield United away from home. The worst team in the Premier League by a country mile. But look what happened against Burnley when when they were the second worst team in the Premier League, and they were down to 10 men, which for me makes them the worst team in the Premier League. Because with 11 men, they're better than Sheffield United. With 10 men, they're not. If they had 10 men all season, they'd already be relegated, you know? So poor from Chelsea to drop points there. And that's the sort of form that worries me. And they aren't the first team in the lower half of the table that we've struggled against this season. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Are you happy with how everything went against Manchester United? Because I've got question marks. I'm not going to lie. I've definitely got question marks. I'm going to be getting Isaac in at some point as well. He's going to join me for the show. We're going to be chatting about Manchester United. We're going to be chatting about what we expect from today. Lineups are out in 15 minutes, so not too long to wait. I wouldn't be shocked if we had some sort of changes, you know. I really wouldn't be surprised, because I feel like, actually, although we probably haven't played as many games as some of the teams above us, I still think rotation might happen because they're so close together, these games. They're very, very close together. It's a if I'm being honest with you, I would expect to see Sterling back in the side. I feel like Mudryk was underwhelming. We'll get on more to the teams in a second, but I would expect that. I would expect to see Sterling back in the side, if I'm being completely honest with you. I feel like that was just a real disappointment. We can touch on Mudryk. I feel like Mudryk was disappointing against Manchester United, and I feel like that's not the first time he's been given a start in a game where I'm sort of expecting something, and he's really struggled. I feel like he really did struggle with that. So, look, Chelsea are a rollercoaster side, and this is one of those games that it's rollercoaster for me. This is what we've struggled with all season. We have not been able to maintain form game to game, bar a couple of very small spells in the season. There was that spell where we had Villa, Palace, Man City, and we didn't lose. And there was a spell, I think, where during that we went 5 games without losing. But now the biggest issue I have is the way and the rate that we're conceding goals. It's another 3 goals against Manchester United. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think Manchester United are renowned for scoring goals this season. I think Chelsea probably actually have a better record than them, and we let in 3. And if it weren't for penalties, we wouldn't have scored many against them. You know, it had to be for the penalties. So, yeah, frustrating to see that is the case. That although we've won 4-3, it was it was done very. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. It was done very difficultly. That's probably not the right way to say it. We made a meal of it. That's what I'm going to say. That was a nightmare. So, yeah, let me know your thoughts. Do you think Chelsea have a chance today against Sheffield United? I'm sat here waiting for the lineups. It'll be good to see them once they're out. Have we got any predictions for the lineups? I genuinely think that there'll be a little bit of rotation today. I think I wouldn't be shocked if Chalobah starts. I wouldn't be shocked if Sterling starts. I'll be annoyed if Sanchez starts. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, that's probably as far as I'd go. I'd probably say, other than that, I wouldn't want to see too much rotation, because I just don't think the quality's there. Got a few things I want to touch on. Madueke, what he was trying to do at that penalty, I mean, that is outrageous. This is the issue when you don't set a penalty taker. You know, as a manager, you're not firm enough to say this is the penalty taker. It causes these kind of issues. It does cause these sort of issues. Right. I think Isaac's ready, so I'm going to bring Isaac in, and we're going to get chatting about how the football's been, just obviously over the last couple of days since we were last on, because it's been really close. So I'm going to bring Isaac in. Isaac, how you doing, mate?
What's happening, Dan? You good?
Yeah, all good, all good. I'm just trying to make sure I don't get an echo. Bear with me 1 second.
On my PC, but I was having.
I think my headphones might be dead. Let's see.
So we've had to go for the old mobile phone.
Yeah, that's all right, mate. That's all right. That's all good. I'm just trying to make sure I don't get an echo over here. So yeah, let me know in the chat if we're getting an echo, but we should be all good. Right. So obviously, it's been an interesting couple of days, obviously post that Manchester United game, because a lot of footage has came out, and we've seen how players were acting during the game and things like that. The first thing I really want to touch base on is just your thoughts on the Manchester United game. What were you happy with? What were you not so happy with? And what could we do better with?
Yeah, I mean, I think the United game for me. Oh, I think I've lost you. Dan, you gone? Is it just me?
Yeah, you're all good, mate. I'll leave you there for 2 secs.
Says I'm live. Oh, yeah, you go back. Oh, you're gone again.
There we go. There we go. I'm back. Right, no, mate. You can keep talking. Sorry about that. We got some technical difficulties. When I'm in need of my headphones, they've deserted me.
Oh, sorry, mate. I wasn't sure if I was still live or not. It said live, but I wasn't.
Yeah, no, you are. If I disappear, mate, it's normally all good. But yeah, go on. I pretty much did that just as I was asking you the big question. So crack on,
mate. I think the game went in some ways as I expected, and in other ways not as I expected, I suppose. I think within the first 20 minutes, and I know we're 2-0 up, it's probably very easy for anyone to sit here and say we look so good, but genuinely, I think we looked that was probably one of the best 20 minutes of football I've seen us play all season, to be fair. I'm not even just saying that. I know people can argue like the Kukurea penalty was a bit weak. Yeah, maybe it was, but it's still a penalty at the end of the day. And if you don't put these things away, which actually a lot of the time before we haven't done, that's when it's making sure that if you do get penalties or opportunities like that, like Connor's was, you put them away. That's what they're there for, right? So I think that was really good. But the trouble we've got is that no matter whether we're 2-0 up, you almost don't want to go 2-0 up after 20 minutes because there's so much time for that to change again. And there's so much possibility just in light of all of our performances this season that 2-0 in most other situations, you're like, sweet, we can sit pretty now, maybe get a couple of more, just control the game a bit. We can dominate this game because we're in pole position. They need to score goals if they want to bring something back out of this game. We don't need to be doing silly things and giving away silly passes or whatnot, which ultimately was what cost them their first goal back. And then the second goal was a better football from them, but again, just lapse in defending there, I think, with Bruno being free for the header. The Garnacho one, there's absolutely no arguing. Anthony's ball was ridiculous, and it was a good goal, to be fair. I think Petric maybe could have done a bit better. But, look, it went, and then the finale was just very... That was probably the least Chelsea thing I've seen in a while. I mean...
Yeah, I'd agree with you. That
like
completely agree with you there.
There's not... It's not often that we see that much fight towards the end. And actually... I would argue and say a lot of it wasn't necessarily fight. I think if we'd have gone away and lost that game, the players would have walked off with their heads down, sulking, probably looking for something or someone to blame. But because we won, it's kind of given off this, we fought till the end. When I think, we did. But I didn't see, when United went 3-2 up, I didn't think we were going to come back. Whereas if I thought we were, then it would have suggested that there was fight in the club, fight in the team, and that they're looking for it. But I think it came from, again, it was a penalty, but it was lucky penalty. And then that finish at the end, you can't fault that. But again, it took a deflection. Look, I've rambled on about the game and basically explained to everyone what they've all seen. I just think the biggest thing out of that game for me was that was probably our last chance to kind of get something from this season or at least put us in a position to get something with this season. And, I know I often sit here and go, if this, if that, if this. because sometimes you have to think like that. But right now, United are losing to Liverpool, and if we win our next 2 games, one of which is Sheffield United and one of which is Everton, which they're not games we shouldn't win, then we will be sitting in 6th position and on our way to European football. And if that doesn't motivate this team to go out there and win every single game between now and the end of the season, I don't know what will.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, mate. Everything you said there is completely valid. Like, what motivation does it take? I was kind of just touching on that before you jumped in. Like, even with the manager, it's like, what does it take for Poch to? So he's saying, "Oh, I wanted to feel a connection to the fans. I wanted to feel great about how we've been and like the connection I felt with the club after that game was amazing." Why did it take a random game against Manchester United at like the depths end of the season than a League Cup final when we could have won his first trophy in England? I just don't understand how it was that difficult for him to build a connection with the fans. Maybe he loves Tottenham that much that he's really struggled, but that worried me a little bit because what's he been saying to the players? How is he not trying to build that relationship with the fans? Because I was saying, like Klopp went into Liverpool and he got the fans on side straight away. And then they've never left his side, even when the going's been bad, like got tough. They've never not backed him. Whereas if you don't get the fans on side straight away, it makes it very, very difficult to have any sort of chance at redemption from the fans. Like because you let that relationship never grow. It's never fruitful. If you get the fans on side, you automatically get in another player behind you, and any decisions you make, you'll be backed majority of the time. But Poch never did that, and I worry that that's kind of dripped into the players. But like you were saying, that's the least Chelsea thing we've seen like this season. That just hasn't been Chelsea, and even a bit last season. But it was actually something we're renowned for years. So yeah, it was good to see that.
Yeah,
obviously we've got the lineup coming out in a couple of minutes. You got any thoughts on today's lineup? Are you expecting any changes? Anyone you wouldn't want to see in the lineup?
I am expecting changes, but not for people I wouldn't want to see. I do think, look, and I think we have to treat every game between now and the end of the season in the league like a final. To be honest with you, if we really really want to get European football, then we need that. But I think he's going to rest some players today because this should be, you know, I know we are the typical club that will go and beat United or we draw with City or do you know what I mean? Knock your Newcastle out the cup final, whatever. Sorry, cup semi-final, and then go and draw with a Burnley or your Brentfords or your Palace or whatever it might be. But I do really think this game. I mean, Sheffield United, they're bottom of the league. There's absolutely zero excuse, no matter what team, starting lineup, subs we bring on in this game, that we do not come away to their 3 points. I'm sorry, there's not a single excuse. So I do think there'll be some rest-ins. I think perhaps maybe people like Malo Gusto may not start. I think he'll bring in. I don't know what the deal is with Kant. I don't know if he's match fit yet because he keeps coming on. But if he's fit to play a game or like an hour, why not start him and give rest to players like Connor or Enzo or Casado or whatever? Casado didn't have a great game on midweek, so he could get dropped. Nico, to be fair, poor guy hasn't really got much of backup. So yeah, I do expect to see a few changes, mate. I do. What they'll be, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think there might be. What do you think?
Yeah, I do actually. I think they are obviously expected, I think, for today. I just don't see how we can play this many games together in a row that we have post an international break and not make changes. I genuinely think that that Madueke might make an appearance, might get longer than what he did, because I think he's actually arguably been good enough, but he's been frustrating. Obviously, there was that clip with him trying to take the penalty off Cole Palmer as well. I think Sterling's going to want to start, and I think actually the way Mudryk performed, he probably should be. I'm just trying to load. Oh, here you go. You're bang on. Gusto isn't starting, so I think that's actually probably injury prevention more than anything. So I'll get it up here.
Which is a good thing, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right, mate, to be honest with you. I think...
This is kind of what I'm saying. Like, against this team, you know, I
yeah.
don't care what starting lineup, what subs come on, how long people play. This should be 3 points in the bag no matter what. I'm sorry, there's no excuse.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you, but actually it would be typical of this Chelsea team to actually make a meal of it. But we've got the lineup there. We've got Petrovic in goal, Chalobah probably starting at right back, Dazassi, Thiago Silva, Cucurella, Caicedo, Enzo, Gallagher, Madueke, who I expected to return, Palmer, Jackson. So just having a look, it's nice to see Thiago Silva back in the side because I'll be honest, I thought Badashile has been woeful recently.
Yeah.
I don't think Mudryk deserved the start either. I'm just looking at that, trying to work it out. He's obviously,
because I actually think he's had some better performances of late, and maybe was that to do with the fact that he was getting more game time? I don't know, but obviously, because what surprises me is that he's kept Gallagher. I mean, I would have gone. No, drop Gallagher, put Mudryk in the 10, and then you could have brought Madueke and Palmer, and then Jackson as the front three.
Yeah, I'm kind of inclined to agree with you there. I feel like the issue I've got is that I'm struggling to work out where Palmer's playing in that team because Madueke is best off the right. I feel like Palmer's going to be playing. Yeah,
unless
I'm not
Palmer's
quite
going
sure.
up the top and he's putting Nico out on the
Jackson on the wing.
There a few times, haven't we?
Yeah, that's a strange one for me. I feel like Madueke deserves probably to start a game, especially in a game like this. I feel like Thiago Silva deserves to start a game. I think defensively we've been so poor, and today I'd be making a real statement that we keep a clean sheet because if we're going to keep a clean sheet, today is the team to do it against, right? But I think when we played them last time, we actually didn't keep a clean sheet. So that's disappointing, especially against a team that have been so poor. So that's a must for me today. I just feel like actually the Palmer, Jackson, Madueke front three seems a bit more confusing than it should because Jackson he's played okay off the left, but if I actually think he's looked better at striker the last sort of month, 2 months. I think he's started to make some real improvements there, and I don't think moving him out to the left is the right idea. I feel like the more he plays there, the more familiar he'll feel. I feel like Palmer off the right is so natural at the moment that makes sense to play him there, but he's going to play Madueke off the right. So what? Palmer's going to play through the middle as a false nine when we actually have our main striker on the pitch. It's very confusing.
Unless he has literally gone Cole Palmer on the right, Mads on the left even, and just going, you two just kind of mix in some ways because we know they can probably like Noni. I know we always see him on the right, but there's nothing to say he can't play on the left. It just stops him being able to cut in and take shots. He'll be more going to be running the channels and whipping balls in. Unless he's going for that, I don't know. You're right though. It is a weird one.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It seems a bit messy considering how simple it could be.
Yeah. Oh, I think he's playing Dazassi as a right back.
No, really?
I mean, this could be wrong. I'm looking at one of those ones where they put it pitch, and that's what this has gone by BBC, but it might be wrong. I'm surprised. There's a few surprises for me here. I think I would have probably gone. Also, slightly off topic, but what was this all about bringing Cassidy back and the guys barely played a game? Surely this is the perfect game to get him on and get him some minutes. And rest Enzo and Caicedo, who play the majority of most games every week.
Yeah, that's absolutely baffled me, that loan, bringing him back, because I don't feel like we were massively short in that area. But obviously, I think in January, they knew that Ugachukwu and Lavia were just not going to play another game this season. And I just don't think they wanted to break the news because they weren't signing anyone. It would have just been horrific PR. But I think they've brought him back and he's not played. But the difference is that when Ugachukwu was fit and when, Lavia for a very, very small period of time, they've actually both got into the team.
Yeah.
So why is Cassidy not getting into the team? Is he that far off of Ugachukwu? I really don't know. But I wouldn't have said that he was. And
he
played a little bit
at Leicester.
for Leicester. Yeah, this is the thing. So it's almost like it's just absolutely like halted any progress he was making. And there's actually, I'm not going to put this much importance on him, but Leicester have obviously fallen off since he's left them.
Yeah.
And they had such a clear lead in that championship and they now don't have that. And obviously it's not, you can't just blame him, but realistically, Chelsea have made a bit of a meal out of bringing him back when he's just not getting any game time. It just doesn't seem right to me that he would like, is he on the bench? I was just trying to see it there. Yeah. Okay. So if we look back at the bench, which I think needs a bit of,
Gusto's not he's not even made the squad.
So Gusto, I think Gusto was injured and I think Poch really just probably asked him to play for that last game.
Yeah.
The ones for me that I find fascinating are Carney Chukwuemeka. I feel like every time he's got on the pitch, he's made such an impact. I'm shocked that he's not really got a start there. I feel like he might have been able to find a way in. I feel like Caicedo was so poor that you could have almost played Enzo and Gallagher and then had a Madueke, Palmer, Chukwuemeka sort of free behind Jackson.
I would have been inclined to do something like that.
Yeah, I feel like Mudryk really didn't take his opportunity. I feel like Madueke's been such a good sub that maybe that's actually where he probably belongs until the end of the season. I know he probably wouldn't be happy with that. And if he has an amazing game today, then fair play. But Sterling, honestly, Sterling, if he finishes the season how he is, where he's sitting on the bench every week, I think he's going to be forcing a move. I just don't see him being happy if he's not playing in a Chelsea side. Like, honestly, it's horrific for a player of his level and where he's been to be being benched by Noni Madueke and let's even say potentially Jackson if he's playing off the left. Mines, good to see you, my man. How are you doing? How is Canadian football treating you? It has been a while.
Yeah. I suppose one thing to say, and maybe we're overlooking this a little bit in a way, and we talk a lot about the subs and people performances and injuries and stuff like that, but I guess, bro, like, I suppose not too many years ago, we had the same. It's good to have competition, right? Like, there was a time in the Chelsea team when we had Mata, Willian, Oscar, Schürrle, who names some more to that list, Hazard.
Yeah.
There was loads of competition. And, in a way, I suppose it's healthy to have all these options. And it is just a bit strange. Maybe we're spoiled in a way that we've got actually looking at these players. Like, if you look at our bench, it's Mudryk, Raheem Sterling, and Chukwuemeka. Like, that's 3 strong players that can come on at any point and change the game, I think. I'll tell you a funny one. Gilchrist not making the starting lineup. Considering he wants to play him quite a lot, we haven't got a right back and he's still not good enough to, or he still doesn't trust him to come on and start there.
I think the Alfie Gilchrist one sort of shows where he is as a player. I think his game is so limited and I'm so unsure of what he brings to a side. Really, as a right back, I feel like defensively he's not that great. I feel like going forward he offers not a lot. He's just signed the new contract. But if you compare him to what Lewis Hall was offering last season, he's not even a touch on him. So, like, I just don't see. I think Alfie Gilchrist is in a very fortunate position to even be being considered for a Chelsea substitute bench because I just don't think he adds anything to a squad, bar a little bit of the Conor Gallagher where he's got a bit of a fight and he wants Chelsea to win. That's kind of what I see him adding. But I think that shows that Poch really doesn't trust him if he can't get a game against Sheffield United because I think Lewis Hall would have been getting a game today if he'd have still been at the club and we were in need of a left back, Like, Obviously different sides of the pitch, but very similar in where they were in their career.
Yeah.
So that's a strange one.
Cucurella.
Yeah, Cucurella. So I think you're right. I think Disasi, if we're judging it off this season, I think that is probably what we'll see, which is a bit concerning because Chalobah has actually played right back in the past for Chelsea, and I'd almost rather him as a right back if the option's there between him and Disasi. I feel like him and Disasi. I feel like Disasi shares and has more traits suited to a centre back than Chalobah has. Than he has to a right back. Whereas Chalobah, I feel like, has the ability to play right back with a little bit more fluidity than Disasi. Yeah. Disasi's a big guy to be getting up and down the right hand side, and he's done okay at times. I'm just scouring the rest of Twitter. Bear with me 2 seconds. I'm gonna try and find the Sheffield. Not that I've got that much interest in it because I really don't think it affects us, but I'm going to try and find the Sheffield United lineup because it's always good to see.
Sorry, I should have said.
Let's have a look.
There we go. Right, they've got Gribic.
Get it up.
Is that how you pronounce his name? The goalie, Gribic.
We go. Yeah, so he's actually just come in not that long ago. They had Fotheringham in goal. And he was dropped for a few mistakes, and he's now obviously not in goal anymore. But this guy made a howler the other day, so it's nice to see he keeps his spot just in case he fancies giving away another one. We've got.
Oh, United have equalised.
Oh, have they? I did have it on. I'll be honest, I had it on, but obviously, as we started, I kind of took my attention away from it. That is massive news. I'll be over the moon if United can keep a point.
Really?
Because,
that affects us a little bit.
Yes. However, I feel like United are going to pick up points and whatever, but it's not a win for them. It's a point. But what I would say is, they're in here, Liverpool. Is this a goal? Yeah. Oh, he's missed. That's a big opportunity. Darwin Núñez. I don't know. You might be ahead of me or behind me, but what I would say is I just can't stand the fact that Liverpool or Arsenal could win the Premier League. I'd much rather Manchester City win it and we then get a European spot.
I completely agree. And if it's not City, to be fair, as much as I really hope it is, my next would be Liverpool and then followed by Arsenal.
Yeah, Arsenal, absolute last resort, to be fair. And I've actually said from the beginning of this season that I thought Arsenal would win the league. I've just got a feeling that they could do it. I feel like last season is enough to sort of start them going in the right direction. If I'm being honest, I feel like that would hurt. And we've seen it before when teams have been on the end of like a bottling like that. They can either be made or broken as a team. And I think Arsenal have gone in the direction that they've become stronger and they become more of a unit. And I actually think there's a lot of talk about Kai Havertz at the moment, but I think we all knew he was capable of this in a Chelsea shirt. I just think he never really got the right manager to assess what he was good at. And I feel like, I don't know what your thoughts are on Kai Havertz. He's obviously been getting a lot of attention, but are you shocked to see how he's doing?
Not really, because I to be honest, mate, I can't say that I think he's been, a standout player this season. I think he's done what's expected of him in the position that he plays and for the level that he plays at. I think you're right. I think at Chelsea, he bought himself time, I think, with the Champions League thing. But he never was the player that he is at Arsenal, that he was at Chelsea. And I think that's down to the team. I genuinely think, he's gone to Arsenal, who last season were, title contenders for a long time. They bottled it at the end, and City done City things. And by probably about this time last year, just suddenly turned it on, and Arsenal flopped. Which I think, to be fair, and maybe I'm wishful thinking here, but I think that's happening again now. I think we're seeing that City on their last few games have been unbelievable. the depth to their squad is unbelievable. So I think we're just watching history repeat itself, I hope anyway. But with Arsenal, I think he's gone into a team that's already, 95% built, and he's just kind of slotted in as that final little percentage. And he's there. And look, we all know he's capable of finishing a goal. We all know he's capable of these things. He did it at Chelsea, just maybe not as frequently. But we saw him score some unreal goals at Chelsea and play some unreal football. It just was never as consistent. But I think when he was at Chelsea for a long period of time, he was in amongst, the ownership thing and, the management situation, which has been poor for the last couple of years. So, it doesn't surprise me at all, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same. I just feel like, actually, when you look at it, he's cost 60 million. I think he's on about 10 goals, and he's kind of doing what I'd expect him to add to the side. I feel like he's getting a lot of hype for that many goals, but I
Yeah.
do think he's been a success when a lot of people are saying it. Look, he didn't start well, but he was in such low confidence, and I feel like that's such a...
I think you're right. I think the hype is high for what he's actually done. And I think because he's done it better at Arsenal than he has at Chelsea, it's kind of like, Kai Havertz. Da, da, da. But if Kai Havertz had never gone to Chelsea and went straight to Arsenal and done this in his first season, the hype would be nowhere near as much. He'd just be like, oh, that Kai Havertz just scored another goal. Like, you wouldn't be like, that's a great season, one of the best. Like, it's not. It's just better than it was when it was at Chelsea.
Yeah, and actually, he's only just bettered his best ever season, hasn't he? He's really not done much more. It's not like he's scored double the amount. And to be honest, I think the only thing he's really done differently is sort of managed to keep a bit of form that he never really had consistency at Chelsea, did he? He was always on and off, on and off. Maybe he'll score this week, maybe he wouldn't. You never know what to expect from him. And I think that's probably one thing.
On the score sheet for Arsenal for sort of like 2 or 3 weeks in a row, or 1 week he gets a goal, next week he gets an assist, then he gets another goal. Then it looks good because it's week in, week out he's doing bits. But like you said, with Chelsea, it was never like that. He might bang 2 goals, then he won't really do much for a few weeks, then he'll get another goal and assist. It wasn't a standout obvious because it was sort of just trickled in when actually the stats weren't too far apart.
Yeah, exactly that. Like he's been okay. We're approaching 60 minutes in that game for Liverpool, Manchester United, and 1-1. I mean, that would be ideal. I really do think that I'd take the 1-1 because I'd rather a 1-1 than a United win, and I'd rather Liverpool drop points.
I
completely
agree with you, mate, about Liverpool dropping points though. Like I can't. It just fills me with joy to watch Liverpool and Arsenal drop points, and I'd rather Arsenal drop points, but I'll take Liverpool dropping points. And I guess I know United getting a point does pull them slightly further away from us, but I guess at the minute, let's not worry too much about that because we've still got work to do to get to that point. We're sat at 29 games on 43 points. United, if they finish this game 1-1, they'll be on 31 games and 49 points. So if we win our next 2 games to bring up to the 31 that they've played, that's another 6 points. We'll be sat on 49 points and we'll be level points from them, even if they walk away with a draw. And it means that Liverpool drop points. So you're right. I think you're right on that one, and I agree with you. And I guess let's win these next 2 games first before we start worrying about United dropping points. Let's focus on our own games.
Yeah, of course. That's what we have to focus on today is with this Sheffield United game is that it's so Chelsea, isn't it, this season, if we go and win that game against Manchester United in the manner that we do and then go and drop points away at Sheffield United, that would be just our season in an absolute nutshell.
Yeah, it's so typical of us to do that. And you know what, mate? I just want, for once this season, I don't want to watch this happen again. I don't want to keep seeing us put in stellar performances against the big clubs to think, yes, the season's on the turn. This is the last time our season can turn in a positive way. This is the last time. If we mess this up now, we might as well write the season off, mate. And what you're then starting seeing is players dropping off, because they want to protect themselves from injuries or whatever the crap excuse they come up with. This is the turning point to our season. I know it's late in the day, but better late than never to join the party. Let's, if we can win these next 2 games, I think it's Sheffield United and I think it's Everton, right? We still got a few big games between now and the end of the season, but it really, really gives us momentum because we'll be sat up there like 6th, 7th place where we should have been back in December before that when we threw points away, whether it's a loss or a draw. We've just thrown stupid points away week after week. If we hadn't dropped for 2 points against Burnley last week, we'd be sat up at 7th now with 1 game to play tonight. That'll put us in 6th. European football. And I think European football for these guys will see a massive difference next season when they get these, games under the lights it'll be a Thursday night, but against Villarreal or Seville or someone like that. And it changes your perspective on things massively. And I'd say 80% of our team have never experienced that yet.
Yeah, that's it. That's why I think like the European football, no matter what level it is, even if it's Conference League, is a must. Because I think, 1, obviously for marketing, it's good. 2, for the squad, it's good. And I feel like it's another competition that Chelsea could go and win. Do you know what I mean? If we go and win the Conference League, we've won everything. We can hold that record again. The Conference League, not that I want to win the Conference League, right? If my standards are higher than that, Chelsea should be doing better than that. But if we're being realistic and we go and win the Conference League next season, right, or we do a really good shift in the Conference League, it could turn these players into serious players. It could start to push them on because they'll want a taste for European football. They'll want to go and play in these big games across the continent. But that being said, also there's a lot of pressure being put on this squad due to the injuries, right? Players are being stretched, and we really haven't had to play that many games this season, albeit we've done quite well in both cups to kind of boost that number up. But what I will say is, actually, if we can't sort out our injury problem, the Conference League could be a massive hindrance to us, or even Europa League, because that many injuries could just be like a recipe for disaster next season. If you've got an extra game in every week, like, it would be a nightmare.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree. I suppose that's the next point to come on to is how do we manage a season when we've got all these extra games? Because, like you said, but I tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised at, Dan, and I'm not making any allegations here, but I wouldn't be surprised if suddenly all these injured players that we've got suddenly find the miraculous medicine that we've been looking for the last 18 months and suddenly come out of the woodwork because they want to go to Ajax or wherever it might be and play the fixture. Do you know what I mean? These Yalabias and Ukachukwu and Nkunku and whatever, suddenly they'll be fixed and they'll want game time again. Look, as long as it gets them on the pitch and gives us a better squad, then I'm here for it. But part of me thinks, and maybe I'm just being a bit too cynical here, but part of me thinks that these injuries have dragged on because they've not wanted them to get better any time quicker. Because do they want to go and play in a wet, Monday night fixture of Burnley away? Probably not. Or would they rather sit there on Instagram and watch it and just stream it?
It makes you wonder. I genuinely think it's a bit of a mixed bag. I feel like some players are potentially in that category. I really do, because I just feel like the injuries are coming when they're not playing, and it's like they don't fancy it, and it's like, oh, this is a bit difficult. This isn't what I thought it was going to be. I'm not playing when I'm fit. But then on the other hand, you see players like Reece James, who I'm sure would rather be playing, because when you're that good at football, football's easy, right? And I just think like he'd rather be playing. But the one I'm kind of intrigued and I'm just not sure about is Nkunku.
Yeah,
I feel like Nkunku thought he was joining a different Chelsea.
Yeah.
And I'm just not sure whether he feels like he's kind of messed up here. And it is very, like, his injury record before Chelsea really isn't that bad. Like, it's really not horrific. It's only been bad since he got the deal.
It's very odd that players come.
It is, yeah. I don't want to.
Lavia played almost every single game last season for Southampton or wherever it was. Was it last season?
Yeah, although Poch come out and said we signed him injured. So I think he had an injury when we signed him, which is crazy. If a player's got an injury,
no matter how good they are, I'd never sign them. Even if you missed out on them for 10 years, right? I'd say, let's see what you're like once the recovery happens, because Torres had an injury and was never the same player. And I think that sort of enlightened me to what can happen to a player post. Oh, what a goal! Oh my gosh, Man United! Is that Kobe Mainu? Oh my gosh, do you know what? The way he struck that goal reminds me of Paul Pogba. I'm not even lying. The way he's hit that, wow. It's a good goal. Klopp is fuming. I'm almost a little bit more happier. I don't really mind. Obviously, I don't want United to win where we're chasing them down, but I think Aston Villa have got a good chance of dropping out. So United can have that spot and we'll sneak in just behind as Aston Villa fall into
Spurs
mid-table.
win today, they'll go above Villa.
So I was going to say,
they've got a game in hand. I'm still waiting for his goal, Dan. I'm a couple minutes behind you. I must be. Who have we got?
Yes.
We've got Bruno with a little bicycle. Oh no, that Casemiro.
So Wan-Bissaka gets on the ball.
Oh, here we go.
It's a great goal.
Ganato's got it now.
Yeah, ready?
Lay off to Wan-Bissaka. Kobe Mainu, turn, spin, goal.
What a goal that is. Fair play. I actually thought he was bang average against Chelsea, but that goal there, it's a great finish. Side netting, perfect. I think he almost looks like Pogba. He's not quite as tall, but the way he moves his body then, if Paul Pogba was scoring that goal, I really wouldn't be shocked. That's a great goal. Klopp is livid. Honestly, I'll take it. I'll take it. I'd be more than happy if Liverpool weren't to win this game. And if Man United have to win it to stop Liverpool winning the title, then I'll take that as well.
Yeah, because what does it really do for us? And like I said, I think we need to at least get these 2 wins under our belt before we can worry about other teams dropping points. Until we're in and amongst it, what's the point even worrying? Because there's no point getting hyped up about it and then we go and draw with Sheffield United, because it's just a waste of time. Like you said,
exactly.
If that 3 points for United stops Liverpool winning the league, perfect. Although, it does put the pressure on City, because we need City to suddenly turn it on, although they have done recently, because I would still rather Liverpool win it than Arsenal.
Do you know what it also does, right? Which I think is really important, is whether or not we'll be aware, I'm not so sure. But by the time it gets to kickoff, this match should be done.
Yeah.
If we're aware going into that game against Sheffield United, we might not be. I'm not sure whether they'd let the players know or not. But if Manchester United have won, keeps the pressure on us. It's like Man United.
70 minutes. They've probably got about 20, 25 of extra time. We don't kick off for another half an hour. You're right, though. Do they tell them 5 minutes before kick off? Oh, by the way, United beat Liverpool. Probably not.
Exactly right. So I would be. I don't know whether that would be the right thing to do, because it could add more pressure to the game where they don't need the pressure. Yeah. But if they are aware, which I'm sure they will be, because I hear that they're on their phones all the time now in the dressing room, they'll probably be aware. They're probably watching it right now in the dressing room. They probably know Manchester United are winning. What it says to me is that even though United obviously lost to us, they're not going to drop off. They're going to keep fighting, and they're against top of the league right now, and they're winning. Yeah. And I genuinely think that shows levels.
They've got.
And Chelsea just have to go and win all their games. I know that's unrealistic, but we do. We have to go and win all of our games to give ourselves the best chance.
Yeah, that is you're spot on. That is all we can do, isn't it? I mean, we can talk about United dropping points, or Villa or Spurs or whoever it is at the time. Ultimately, if we don't get wins, it's completely irrelevant. So
yeah,
we have to win every single game, or as many of our games as possible, to be in with any kind of chance of finishing in the top 6, 7. And then we just have to hope that other teams drop points. I mean, United have got Bournemouth away. That should be fairly comfortable for them, because Bournemouth aren't even fighting for anything.
Well, Bournemouth are 10th, though. We've got their... Oh, Nana as well, Silky. We've got Bournemouth as well.
Yeah.
So
they got
I feel like
semi-final FA Cup against Coventry. That should be a walk in the park. They've still got to play Newcastle, Sheffield United, Burnley. I mean, those 3 aren't the toughest. Newcastle's not an easy one. They've got Palace away. They have still got to play Arsenal twice. No, how can they?
Have they really?
Is that in a cup? 20,
I would say no.
11th of May, they were at home to Arsenal. And then 24th of... Oh, 27th of July, that was a friendly.
Pre-season. Yeah.
Calendar. Yeah, okay, no. So they got Arsenal there, Brighton away. So they got a couple of tough fixtures. What have we got?
We've got today is a weird one for me because even if we win, we don't leave ninth, and I feel like we're just in this awful space at the moment where you don't see any progression.
But that's why it's even more important to get them, because all it suddenly means is when we get these games where we're then a level with everyone else, all of a sudden we go from here and it's a massive jump. So that's the annoying thing. If we get a win today, we don't move, but it doesn't matter because it's a step in the right direction.
Like we're currently 5 points off West Ham in 7th. With 3 games in hand.
3 games in hand, though. Yeah, exactly. So that
obviously to play one now, but we'll still be sat 2 in hand.
If we beat Sheffield United and Everton, we go 7th straight away, and then we're level then with games played, and then it's just win. I'm going to list out every game we've got down, and I want you to say whether we win, lose, or draw.
Yeah.
Sheffield United.
We have to win that. If we don't win this, it's a shambles. It's almost sackable.
Everton at home.
Yeah, we win that as well, I believe.
That's been postponed. Man City in the cup final.
No, semi-final. If I'm being honest, no, I don't think we do. Man United are in here, by the way. Oh, no, I don't think we do. I just think Manchester City yesterday looked so good, and their best player this season has either been De Bruyne or Foden. They didn't have Foden yesterday, and they still absolutely demolished the team in front of them, or 2 days ago, whenever it was. But yeah, I just think Manchester City will at least win an FA Cup and a Premier League this season. I really do.
We just looking at this, actually, we've got a few harder games than United have. We do.
Arsenal, this is the thing, right? And I knew you were going to say this when you started looking. I knew you were going to say this because when you start reading the games, you go, "Oh, there's some big games." However, if we beat Arsenal, we hinder them winning the league. That's massive for me. Not that we will, but it would be unbelievable if we did away at the Emirates, ruin Arsenal's title challenge as well. Aston Villa above us in the league, dropping points, could close that gap. Tottenham above us in the league, dropping points, could close that gap. West Ham, by the time we get to that game, if we've won all of our games, we'll go above them with that win. Yeah. Forest, they're below us. Obviously, we need to win that. Bournemouth are close to us right now. We need to win that. Like, if we win our games, we literally hold back the teams in front of us, and we will overtake them.
Yeah.
Mate, honestly, this is no lie, but if we win all of our games, top 4 isn't even off the cards. It's actually, if we went unbeaten from now to, and this is dream scenario, but if we went unbeaten all the way, top 4 isn't off the cards.
So if we beat Sheffield United, Everton, Brighton, Arsenal, Villa, Tottenham, West Ham, Forest, Bournemouth, then suddenly top 4 is looking good. But you're right, though, because 3 of those teams we play are above us. So every time we get 3, they don't get anything. And we're climbing.
No, Brighton are above us as well. Man United were above us. So that I'm including them in the list because when we were speaking about it the other day, West Ham, Villa, Spurs, Arsenal, Brighton, they're all above us.
Although Brighton won't be above us if we beat Sheffield United and Everton, because we'd have played the same amount of games and we'll then be above them. But yeah, it's close enough, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
For them, I don't think that there'll only be a couple places below, and probably not that many points below either.
The nice thing about that Brighton game is if they squeeze it in towards the end of April, May, it'll be a lovely sunny away day in Brighton.
Yeah,
so they're shaping that up lovely to have a nice little party down on the south coast.
We've got to make sure we do our best to get tickets.
No, but this is the thing. It's easy to get ahead of yourselves. And actually, I always look at the fixtures and think like I used to think about Chelsea going into these games. But it's a completely different kettle of fish now. It's just not quite the same, is it, anymore? You look at the games now as potential banana skins rather than victories.
And you're right. And how many times have we done this season and we've then thrown it away? In fact, let's go backwards now. So we beat them. Let's have a look at, okay, no, it's hard to say because you just don't know where everyone's gone. But Let's just look at
I thought it was going to be a Maguire own goal, but luckily Anana's on his toes.
So Burnley, that's an obvious 2 points dropped as far
Yeah,
as
massive. That's
that should,
horrific, isn't it? Look at where we'd
that's
be in
an
the
argument.
table.
Yeah,
Had we beaten 10 men Burnley.
Yeah, without a manager. They've won 4 games all season, 5 games or something stupid like that. Brentford 2-2 a couple of weeks before that. To me, that's 2 drop points.
Yeah, it is. You're not even wrong.
Newcastle we won, Leeds we won, Liverpool we lost. Fine. I mean, that was a cup final, so it doesn't really matter. City we drew, great result to be fair. But even that is kind of 2 points thrown away because we were 1-0 up for so long.
Yeah.
But you take a point before the game. You take a point all day at the Etihad. I'm sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
3-1 Palace, fine. 3-1 Villa, Wolves 4-2. We lost.
Yeah.
To me, that's 3
acceptable.
points. Even a point, even if you get a point at that, it's still bad. But losing 4-2 Wolves, that's another 3 points. So think where we would be now if all these dumb games where we dropped silly points, where we only got 1 or none, we actually got 3. We'd be up there, 6th, 5th, in amongst it all, wondering what European football, not if we're going to get European football, what European football we're going to be playing.
Yeah,
Middlesbrough we lost first. Luton, we nearly threw that away. I remember that. Wolves again, back in December, lost Christmas Eve, ruined my Christmas.
Yeah, that was a shocking performance as well. That was like that was almost like they were protesting. I think that game that they didn't want to play it.
Yeah, December was bad for us. We lost to Everton. Remember, just after they had their 10-point deduction.
They were in. They were in good form there, I think. At that point.
They were.
I think although they had that deduction, they were picking up victories. But yeah, I don't disagree. I feel like there's so many games. This is what's crazy, right? We're sat in 9th off of the season that we've had and where we've dropped points. Had we even just recently had slightly better form, I can't believe how we'd still. I can't even believe now how we're still in with a potential chance. You know, if we do well in our games, good effort from Liverpool. Salah, I've missed.
Just going back as far as, and I know this is ridiculous now, I'm probably getting a bit carried away, but just going back to I'm just browsing through these, mate, and in August, September, this isn't all the games we played. I'm skipping a couple, but they were cup games and all against Luton. We lost to West Ham at the end of August. In the beginning of September, we lost to Forest. The following week, we drew 0-0 with Bournemouth. The following week, we lost 1-0 to Villa. Out of 5 games in the league, 1, 2, because that was a cup game, 3, 4, 5, we got 3 points. No, 4 points in 5 games. 4 points out of a possible 15 is disgustingly bad.
And that's why I think people that were calling for Pochettino's head, they're not wrong. It's really bad. And obviously that win, the issue I've got with that Manchester United win is yes, there's a lot of fight shown and a lot of desire. And that's been a big issue this season because if we've shown that in the games against smaller sides, fine. However, we really have struggled to even show anything for the majority of that game. For the majority of that game, we've really struggled to show anything against that Manchester United side. For 20 minutes, we were really good, and then we were absolutely burnt out. And then post that, we weren't very good. Yeah. And then 90, it literally took till post 90 minutes. The one thing I will say though is, again, I feel like we've scored a few. I don't know the stats, but I feel like we scored a few late goals this season. And what I will say is this down to Pochettino and his fitness that he's trying to encourage on the team? Because actually, we didn't look like stopping. You know, we weren't mentally switched off because they're fit enough now. And I do wonder.
It's like that a lot recently, hasn't it?
It has. Even Enzo was looking sharp, and he's looked tired at points.
Yeah, even if you look at the Leicester game, and I know it's Leicester, but we threw that away 2-0, 2-2, did the exact same thing as we did at United. But then you're right, we didn't stop. We carried on and got the win. You know?
Yeah.
That's something I feel like we've been missing for a long time, especially under Poch. And I feel like that was one part of our game that we didn't have. But whether it's just because the players are just as fed up as us, as thinking we can't just keep losing games, we have to just keep going. I don't know. Who knows, mate? Who knows? We just don't know. This is the life. If anyone watching and hearing this discussion, this is the life of a Chelsea fan at the minute. You do not know what you're going to get, whether you've got Man United away at home or whether you've got Sheffield United, who are bottom of the league, who might as well already be relegated at away. And coming off the back of a ridiculous win, we could just throw it away, and we just don't know.
Yeah, look, you summed it up perfectly there. Like, it is the absolute life of a Chelsea fan right now. We've got 20 minutes to kick off. It's a shambles of a game today, by the way. It's at 5:30 on a Sunday night up in Sheffield, and it's not even on UK TV. So it's an absolute like masterclass from the fixture people at Sky and the fixture people in the Premier League. Because how on earth have they messed up that bad? Why it couldn't have been on yesterday? Why it can't be a Monday night game? I just don't get it, although that probably makes it worse.
I think they scheduled the Spurs game at 6 o'clock, so you've got 2 games within half an hour of each other.
Yeah, because there's some sort of investigation going on with Spurs, like around that area, police investigation or something like that, so they can't have it on at the normal time. So yeah, look, it's a complete mess. It is the life of a Chelsea fan right now. None of us know what to expect. No one knows if Chelsea are going to turn up. We're obviously...
Liverpool penalty. Sorry, Dan, Liverpool penalty.
No, I didn't see it. It is Salah. I'll take the fantasy points.
It does look like. You must be ahead of me. Have they taken it and it's given? Because the initial challenge, I thought Wan-Bissaka got the ball. No, he doesn't.
Okay, it's definitely given. By the looks of it, it is definitely given. I won't react.
It's 100% a penalty all day. When I first saw it in live play, it looked like he got the ball, but he doesn't at all. And
so Salah's having a little bit of an issue keeping the ball on the spot here. So he still hasn't taken it yet. I'm not even lying. You'll see it in a second.
Wan-Bissaka has had an absolute shocker there. I'm sorry, but that is a terrible, terrible, terrible tackle to make when there's not even really a threat in the 82nd minute when you're 2-1 up against top of the table. Too many T's in that sentence for my liking. But... Has he taken it yet for you, Dan?
He has, yeah. He has taken it.
I think, to be honest, he doesn't miss, does he, really? I think it's going to be a goal. I can't see Onana saving it. He didn't save 2 against Cole Palmer on the weekend.
And you know what, right? He's finally dived the other way, because I heard Man United fans giving it the big and saying Onana never dives to that side that Cole Palmer put both his penalties. Never dives that way, apparently. And today he's decided to change his mind.
Oh, yeah, I'm just seeing this bit with the ball.
Yeah, so it's just rolling.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and to be honest, Salah being Salah, he's an intelligent guy. And he's 100% gone, I bet Onana's going to dive left now because he's getting so much stick, so I'm just going to place it in the right.
Yeah.
He's done exactly that. And do you know what? If Onana goes the way he always goes, even because he's not hit it that hard, Salah.
No, he'll save that,
He'll save that.
And Mason Mount's just come on as well. Snake. Look, we were sort of wrapping it up there, but
we were, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
It's been a topsy-turvy season, and we can get excited on that Manchester United game. But like we've all said, if we can't do the business against Sheffield United today, then like I said against Manchester United, you might as well write off the season. You actually might as well, because it's so poor not being able to beat these teams. But actually, if we're going to struggle against anyone, it is going to be the Sheffield United, who are bottom of the table, that have nothing to play for, and they just fancy getting a win. So as it stands, Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool are 1 point between them. Arsenal, Liverpool, and City. City on 70, Liverpool on 71. Arsenal top of the league because of goal difference on 71 as well. How crazy is that? What a title race we have on our hands. We're focused on the mid-table battle and seeing if we can get out of there and push for Europe. Isaac, it's been a pleasure chatting, mate. I'm sure you'll enjoy the game. Guys, make sure to smash the like button. Let's see if we can get 10 likes again. We did a great effort on that on the last stream. And I will catch you all after the game with my reaction. See you in a bit.